In last lecture, we have finished our first unit of thermal engineering, that is fundamental of thermodynamics. After finishing this fundamental of thermodynamics, let's start actual thermodynamics with some processes, that is ideal gases and ideal gas process, which is the chapter we have to discuss. Okay, that is ideal gases and ideal gas processes. That means uh, that like how the air undergoes different processes or day-to-day life examples we have to study in this particular chapter, how this thermodynamic law works, that we are going to discuss. First, let's see some concepts in this which are required for this particular chapter. Let's see that a hypothetical gas which obeys Boyle's law and Charles law and whose characteristic equation is obtained by combination of above law, that is PV is equals to RT at all pressure and temperature, is called as ideal gas. That means we will going to see this two laws, Boyle's law, that is where T is constant, and Charles law where its P is constant. All this process we are going to see, but before that, if which is ideal or what is definition of ideal gas, or which gas can be considered as ideal gas? It is the gas which can or which follows or obeys the law of Boyle's and law of Charles. If ideal gas follows or obeys these two laws, then this gas can be considered as ideal gas. Then there are three primary phases of substance. Okay, we know that, or we can call it as a physical state of material. Okay, or phases: solid, liquid and gas. Ideal gas is a gas which remain in gaseous phase at all pressure and temperature. Okay, ideal gas is what? A gas which remains gas at any particular temperature, pressure. Okay, that is, but an ideal gas is a gas which remains in gaseous phase at all pressure and temperature. In actual practice, there is no perfect gas in nature, but many gases can be approaches to this standard within the temperature limit. Oxygen, nitrogen, air are considered as perfect gas as they obeys these laws within the temperature limit of thermodynamics. They are also known as real gases. A gas is a phase of substance whose evaporation from its liquid phase is completed. Okay, what is gas? Gas is the next phase of liquid state. After finishing liquid state, if the temperature is raised, the liquid get converted into gaseous phase. That means these gases are actually the evaporation phase of these liquids. Then let's make some assumption about ideal gas, or which things we should have to assume to apply all these gaseous process. First, assume that a finite volume of gas contain large molecule of the large number of molecules of that particular gas. Okay, that means small amount of gas, volume of gas is containing large molecule for consideration or for application of this law. The collision of molecule with one another with the walls of container is perfectly elastic. That means there is no energy loss of that particular molecules of that gases, which should not lose any energy with the container wall. The molecules are separated by large distance compared to their own dimension. Then the molecules do not exert force on one another except when they collide. As long as the above assumptions are valid, the behavior of real gas approaches closely that of an ideal gas. That means for ideal gas, or ideal gas should have all this property. It should have a large number of molecules in small volume. Then collision with each other and with wall should be perfectly elastic so that energy loss is minimum or no energy loss. Then molecules are separated by large distance greater than their dimension, and then molecules do not exist in a fluid. That means if there is any electrostatic force or any gravitational force which should be, or magnetic force, all forces should be considered zero for ideal gas. As long as the above assumptions are valid, the behavior of real gas approaches closely that an ideal gas. Okay, this real gas, all this air, oxygen, there is no ideal gas present in the universe, but some real gas can be considered as ideal gas under some consideration or assumption, or these are some assumptions that we have discussed. Now let's see, or start with our first law, that is Avogadro's law, or can be considered an molar volume. Okay, first is, what is Avogadro's law? In an experimental gas law relation volume of gas to the amount of substance of gas present. Okay, what is sometimes referred to as Avogadro's hypothesis or Avogadro's principle, is an experimental gas law relating volume of gas to the amount of substance of the gas present. This law states that the equal volume of ideal gas at the same temperature and pressure contain the same number of molecules. Okay, what is Avogadro's law? If you take the or two gases of equal volume should be equal, in that case you will observe that they contain, both the gases contain same number of molecules. Okay, there will be same number of molecules in that particular gas if they have same volume. This is the Avogadro's number. Okay, what is Avogadro's number? If you take two gases of same volume, then you will have the same number of molecules. Okay, you will have same number of molecules in that particular volume for any particular gas. Or there is example given, or some explanation is given over there, which shows that molar volume V is what? Capital V upon N. That molar volume is what? That means for particular mole of any substance there is number of molecule constant. Okay, let's see. It states that volume of a G mole of a gas at the pressure of 760, that is atmospheric pressure, 760 millimeter of Hg, and temperature of 0 degrees Celsius is the same and is equal to 22.4 liter of gas is taken. Therefore 1 gram mole of a gas has a volume of 22.4 into 10 raised to 3 centimeter cube, and 1 kg mole of a gas has a volume of 22.4 meter cube at normal temperature pressure. For a certain gas, if m is its mass in kg and mu is its molar weight, then the number of kg mole of gas n would be given by small n is equals to m upon mu. Okay, that is m upon mu, which is equals to, our unit is what? Kg moles. Now molar volume is given by small v is equals to V upon N, where V is total volume of gas and N is number of moles. Then let's start. This was the first law, which is very necessary, because we have to consider mole or molar mass, all this concept in the all these laws. So Avogadro's law is quite important, which state that for two gases having same volume, it will contain same number of moles of that particular gas. Okay, this was the Avogadro's law. Now first of all, see Charles' law. Okay, Charles' law is about pressure. We have discussed the PV equation, that is PV is equals to MRT in previous unit in fundamentals of thermodynamics. We have seen that PV is equals to MRT. Let's apply that law, PV is equals to MRT, in all these processes. Let's see what happened. In Charles' law, introduced by Charles, in 1787 after D. It states that if a unit of mass of a gas is maintained at constant pressure, okay, keep in mind that constant pressure. Charles law is about constant pressure, okay, constant pressure. Charles law is about constant pressure. If gas is maintained at constant pressure, the volume of gas, here are three things, P, V, T, okay, P, V and T. All these three are related to each other. Now, in this Charles law, this first P is constant, okay, first P is constant. Therefore, what actually we have the relation, let me write over here, PV is equals to mRT. P is pressure, V is volume, and m is molar mass, R is universal constant, and T is temperature. Therefore, according to the Charles law, if pressure is constant, pressure we have maintained constant, pressure is constant, then the remaining equation was PV is equals to RT. Is it? It was the relation PV is equals to RT. Now P is constant, therefore V is directly proportional to T. This you will observe. Okay, you can see volume of gas. Okay, volume of gas varies directly proportional to absolute temperature. If constant pressure is there, then in that case volume of gas is directly proportional to absolute temperature. You can write like this: volume is directly proportional to the temperature, which is law of Charles. Okay, Charles law states that at constant pressure, volume directly proportional to absolute temperature. Okay, these four things you have to remember. Now let's go further. The arrangement of this law. Let's see that. Okay, you can see V is volume, T is absolute temperature. That means T plus 273 degree Kelvin. Okay, absolute temperature is measured in Kelvin. We have studied the formula for converting degree Celsius into degree Kelvin. Okay, this formula is given also over here. So according to Charles law, if P is constant, V is directly proportional to T. Now therefore this law becomes V upon T is equals to constant. Now here, if two cases are there, V1 T1 is the volume and temperature of gas. Okay, let's see this. Okay, if this is the container having, okay, and sorry, not container, let this be a piston cylinder arrangement. Wait a second. Okay, let this be the piston, cylinder, and this be the what, a piston. This is piston and this one is cylinder. Now according to this law, if you maintain the pressure constant, okay, you have to keep the pressure. Okay, you can see here is the volume V1, okay, at temperature T1. Okay, this at this this is first stage. Okay, this is initial condition. In the initial condition, the volume is V1, temperature is T1 and pressure is constant. Okay, now what happens next? If this rod is moved to second position, now let this piston is moved to second position. Now let this be the second position, keeping pressure constant. Okay, now this is the second position. Now you can see the volume has increased. Okay, volume is increased, pressure is constant, therefore temperature must also be increased, because both are directly proportional. If volume is increasing, in that case temperature should also increase. Okay, can you understand this? Okay, let me show you things again. Now forget this for a while. Wait, forgot this stuff for a while. Wait a second. Now here, here, okay, here is piston. Initially P was constant, V1 is the volume, T1 was the temperature. Now if you shift this rod, okay, sorry, piston cylinder, if you move this piston to new position, if you move this position, piston to new position, this, okay, this one is the new position of this piston. Okay, this was initial, this is final. Now you can see here the volume has increased. Okay, now if pressure is constant, volume is increased. According to Charles law, temperature should also increase because they are directly proportional to each other. Okay, this is the uh, Charles law. According to that law, you can write this equation: V1 upon T1 is equals to V2 upon T2. Okay, now these are the uh, pressure, volume, temperature, entropy, and temperature volume diagram for this particular process. You should have to remember all these diagram for exam point of view, or for everything. I will say you have to or you will need all these diagram in particular engines. So keep in mind all these diagrams. Okay, let's see, or let's discuss about first diagram, PV diagram. Okay, if this is volume and this is P, in Charles law pressure is constant, that means pressure, okay, if this is 4 value of pressure, pressure is what, 4 bar, that means at all this point pressure is constant but volume is changing. At this point V1 is this, and at this point V2 is here. Okay, this shows the pressure volume variation. Now next one is what, next one is temperature entropy diagram. Okay, yes, is entropy, in last lecture we have discussed about it. For this the variation is parabolic. As temperature increases, that means temperature and entropy is or entropy is increasing, or we can write entropy is increasing with the square of temperature. That's why here the hyperbolic proportion is there, or parabolic proportion is there. In the same way, the temperature and volume diagram is shown. Okay, the temperature and volume diagram is shown. At absolute temperature, for different pressure, constant pressure, for different constant pressure, the variation of temperature and volume will show it shown here. Volume, as volume is increasing, temperature is also increasing, you can see over here. Okay, then next process is Boyle's law. Okay, Boyle's law. This law introduced by Robert Boyle in 1662 after death of Christ. It states that if a unit mass of gas is maintained at constant temperature, okay, boiling is related to T, temperature. Therefore, always remember Boyle's law is related to temperature. You will always confuse between, because there are 3-4 laws, you will get confused between all these laws. So correlate all these words. Okay, you can let me give you an example. You can see boiling, this is Boyle's law, but I am saying that boiling is related to what, temperature. If you increase the temperature of water, it will boil. So Boyle's law is related to temperature. Okay, this is not given over anywhere, or not written in book, but for sake of remember, I am giving you this trick. Or for previous one, I have also made one trick. I always say Charlie Chaplin, okay, in which P is dominant, so P is constant. While or pronouncing this law, always say that Charlie Chaplin's law, so that in which Chaplin from through that Chaplin word you will see that P is prominent, therefore P is constant. And in this Boyle's law, for boiling water temperature is necessary. Okay, for boiling water temperature is necessary for temperature, therefore temperature is constant. Okay, got these two laws. Okay, let's see this Boyle's law. Before that, time has gone out. We will discuss this Boyle's law in next lecture. So keep reading and studying all these lectures and practicals. So thank you for today. We will discuss Boyle's law in next lecture. Thank you.